The first house is all about you personally. It's your health, your happiness, your personality, and how you show up and interact with the world. It's arguably the most important house in the chart because when you get right down to it, the only thing that really matters is happiness. It's time to meet the real first house. Welcome to the Real Houses of Astrology. I'm Kevin B. Burke, the headmaster of the Real Astrology Academy. In this episode, we're going to take a close look at the real first house in the natal chart, and specifically, we're going to explore how the first house relates to your happiness. The secret of happiness, or at least the secret of your happiness, lies in the first house. The planet that rules your first house is your happiness, and the first step towards becoming truly happy is to meet the needs of that planet and to let it guide you on your path. Happiness doesn't exist in the outer world, however. Happiness is an inside job. When you look for happiness in the outside world, you base your happiness on getting what you want. If things don't turn out the way you expect, you won't be happy. And even when you do get what you want, the satisfaction you experience doesn't last. The source of true happiness lives within you, and it's bulletproof. No matter what the conditions are in your life, and no matter what emotion you may be experiencing, you're still happy. Happiness is a context that contains the full range of feelings, emotions, and experiences. The experience of happiness is better than you can imagine, but it may not feel the way you expect it to feel. And happiness doesn't mean you enjoy every moment of your life. The highs only have value when you can contrast them with the lows. On a personal level, you associate happiness with your hobbies and interests because you experience pleasure when you engage in these activities. But consider that while you're happy when you pursue the things that interest you, the moment-to-moment experience of these pursuits isn't always enjoyable. Struggle, frustration, obstacles, and any number of challenges are often a part of how you like to spend your time and energy. But you welcome these experiences when they're connected to your hobbies and interests because the bigger context is happiness. When you learn to live the rest of your life from this context, you experience true happiness. The most effective way to increase your happiness and improve the experience of your first house is to engage with the planet that rules your first house. You determine this by looking at the sign on the cusp of your first house. When a planet rules a house in your chart, that planet is that house. The universal puzzle pieces of the planet combine with the personal puzzle pieces of the house. This is incredibly practical because all you need to do to create happiness is to meet the needs of the planet that rules your first house. By the way, this is an example of the personal practical astrology approach to natal chart interpretation, and you'll find this exclusively at the Real Astrology Academy. You can experience it with your own chart through the Personal Practical Astrology program, or you can use it to interpret other people's charts with the Natal Interpretation Foundations class. You'll find all that and more at therealastrology.com. So let's explore how the personal puzzle piece of the first house, your happiness, combines with the universal puzzle piece of the planet that rules your first house. If Leo's on the cusp of your first house, the sun rules your first house. This means your integrity is your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of integrity, and the experience of your personal standards of integrity is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. Bottom line is, if you're out of integrity for any reason, you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to live your life in integrity. If Cancer's on the cusp of your first house, the moon rules your first house. This means your subjective safety needs are your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of safety. And the experience of safety is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. Bottom line is, if you don't feel safe, or if the balance in your safety need account drops below the minimum level, you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to maintain the minimum balance in your safety need account. If Gemini or Virgo is on the cusp of your first house, Mercury rules your first house. This means your understanding and communication are your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of understanding and communication, and the experience of understanding and communication is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. The bottom line is, if you don't understand your reality or you experience any breakdown in communication, you will not be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to improve your communication and truly understand your life. If Taurus or Libra is on the cusp of your first house, Venus rules your first house. This means your validation needs are your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of love and appreciation. And the experience of love and appreciation is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. The bottom line is, if you don't maintain the minimum balance in your own validation need account and know that you are worthy of love and appreciation, you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to experience and express love and appreciation. If Aries or Scorpio is on the cusp of your first house, Mars rules your first house. This means your anger is your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of your anger, and the experience of your anger and the energy of your anger is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. Bottom line is, if you don't connect to the energy of your anger and learn to use that energy in constructive ways, you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to learn to master your anger and use the energy of your anger constructively. If Sagittarius or Pisces is on the cusp of your first house, Jupiter rules your first house. This means your growth is your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of growth, and the experience of growth is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. The bottom line is, if you aren't growing, if you're not making use of your full potential and expanding in every dimension of your life, you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to become conscious of all of the ways that you're growing and expanding in your life. If Capricorn or Aquarius is on the cusp of your first house, Saturn rules your first house. This means your responsibility is your happiness. You can't imagine happiness without the experience of responsibility. And the experience of responsibility is what makes your hobbies and interests enjoyable for you. Bottom line is, if you're not meeting your responsibilities for any reason, including because you've taken on responsibilities that are not your business, then you won't be happy. And if you want to be happy, then you need to manage your responsibilities and refuse to take responsibility for anything that isn't your business. Planets that occupy your first house consume your happiness. When a planet occupies the first house, it uses the resources of your happiness to pursue its own agenda. When you meet the needs of the universal puzzle pieces of a planet in your first house, and when you manage the affairs of the houses ruled by that planet, it consumes some of your happiness. As long as you keep a full reserve of happiness by working with the planet that rules your first house, this won't be a problem. But if you have planets in your first house, you need to be aware that there's a constant drain on your happiness. And if you want to keep your life in balance, you need to replenish your happiness reserves by meeting the needs of the planet that rules your first house. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel. And remember to visit the Real Astrology Academy at therealastrology.com and set up your free membership account. At the Real Astrology Academy, you can explore your entire birth chart on your own with the Personal Practical Astrology program. Or you can book a private consultation with me, and I can explore your chart with you. And if you're interested in learning how to interpret charts yourself, you can watch a free 2-hour class on natal chart interpretation. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you soon.